Jeffrey's been working out for 6 months, but he still looks the same. Is it low testosterone? Is it my genetics? Why can't I build a physique like that? He's so upset. He really has been showing up to the gym, but something is holding back his progress. He sees guys who started in the gym after him make faster gains than he did. Adonis has the ultimate male physique, but he didn't always look like this. In fact, Adonis started off with the worst physique possible. How did he achieve such a transformation? Was it creatine? Was it carb loading? Did he watch Jeff Nippard videos? No, of course not. He just trained hard. Here's my first tip for you to go from skinny to jacked as quickly as possible. Intensity. Intensity just means training harder. I think a lot of people underestimate just how painful this style of training is. Like, it genuinely feels close to like a 10 out of 10 pain when you're taking a set as close to failure as you should do. What I see from a lot of guys who like post their videos online, they genuinely train like that meme where people write this in like the Instagram comments, like, bro trains till mild discomfort. If you're hitting a set and you're still like 5 reps away from being close to failure, you're not gonna grow. Maybe in the first year, fine, you'll be getting some noob gains. But if you've been going to the gym for about 6 months, 12 months, you're not gonna grow unless you're having like painful, absolutely excruciating workouts where you're pushing your capacity for hard work each and every session. To get close to failure when you've got like a good amount of strength after a year or 2 years of weightlifting is really, really, really difficult because you've got some pretty sizable weight on the bar or on the machine, but you need to still go to the point where you can't hit it anymore. And here's the weird point I want you to think of. The heavier weight that you use over the next few months and years, the less close you're actually going to get to failure. Because put it this way, if we have 100 kg on the bar and we get to failure, so to the point where, you know, my arms kind of stop halfway through, I can't press anymore, my spotter helps me, we'd call that failure, right? But if we took that weight off the bar and maybe we just had 40 kg, I could probably do an extra 5 reps, maybe even 10 reps. I wasn't as close to failure on the 100 kg bench press as I thought I was. Now, I was at failure for that weight, sure, but you can see that when you have higher weight, you actually still have more left in the tank than you think. Just because you've got no more reps left in the tank for that weight does not mean that you're actually at failure in total. So there's 2 things you can do. You can do drop sets. So that's where you'll hit the weight, you'll get to the point where you can't really move it anymore, drop the weight down and then lower the weight. So maybe grab different dumbbells or change the weight on the machine, or it's a little bit impractical to do this with a barbell, and then do more reps with the lower weight. But the way that I prefer doing this, just because that's too much of a hassle to like change the weight mid-set, is to actually do a hold. So you hit failure, and when you can't hit it anymore, that's when you like hold it there for as long as possible. And if you have a spot, and it's one of those exercises where you can be spotted, what you can do is get the spot to help you to lift it all up, let's say in the bench press, and then you slowly let it come down. Then your spotter helps you lift it up, then you slowly let it come down. I've seen that for guys who aren't taking steroids. This is the kind of training they need to do, which is very, very difficult. Compared to all these fitness influencers who are all taking gear and everything, and they're all lying about their progress, they're all taking steroids and stuff. They can kind of just like train hard, not have to think about these specific things, and actually be fine. Now, if you want to get to pure bodybuilding levels, that's when you're taking tests and all these compounds that like someone like Sam Sulek is taking. But you're also then training as hard as possible with these drop sets. Like, it's very interesting. If you watch the training style of someone who's massive like Sam Sulek, you do see them using a lot of these like drop sets or like half reps, or like, you know, like the sort of dirty reps, like the cheat reps. You see a lot of those guys use that. It's only like these nerds in the fitness science-based community who kind of tell you like not to do that, to keep reps full range of motion and all that stuff. You don't need to. You don't need to be a nerd thinking every rep has to be the same and every, you know, it has to be full range of motion or anything like that. You just have to get the muscle to failure. Whether you do that through full range of motion, half reps, clean reps, cheat reps, doesn't matter. You just need to get as close to failure as possible. The way that you know you're at failure is when you hit like a 10 out of 10 pain and your mouth is like basically frothing and you look like you're like you're agitated. Like, if you saw some videos of me when I'm training and you saw me like actually get close to failure, you'd be thinking like, shit, like that's actually real failure. My face doesn't look like that when I finish my set. It's just mild discomfort. Oh yeah, my chest burns a little bit. Most guys re-rack the weight at that point, and that's why you're missing out on some gains. Now, my second tip that I'm going to give you is going to help you to get to that intensity, because I'll be honest to you, I'm a complete pussy when it comes to the pain of like muscle mass being torn by these workouts that are very intense. And I found that there's only one way that I actually have high intensity workouts, and that's when I'm I'm specifically training with someone else. If I train by myself and I've got my earphones in and, I'm just in like a gym with other people who aren't like very much my friends or anything, then I'll train to mild discomfort without really even realizing, because I just don't have that extra push. When I train with someone who's watching me as I hit my set, so they're not like, on their phone or whatever, they'll hit their set, I'll watch them and swear at them and literally tell them like 2 more reps, pussy. No, slow it down. That's when we are hitting these intense sessions. Then as soon as he's racked his weight, I go underneath. He's not on his phone. He's not fucking around talking to someone. He's staring at me and saying, okay, 12 reps. Come on, let's get 12. No, you got 1 more. No, that doesn't count. Those are the workouts which I have always found after a couple of months of training with a good partner. That's when I've made the most progress, like very, very quick compared to those solo periods. There's going to be some guys watching this thinking, oh, this tip doesn't apply to me. I prefer training solo. And I'd really ask you, like, is that definitely true? Or have you basically never really had a training partner and you're just like shy? Be honest. Or 2, have you had a training partner but he's been a bit of a dickhead? He doesn't know how to train properly. Because for a long time, for about 5-6 years, I used to say in my mind like, oh yeah, I just like training with myself. But the reason why is because I had no one to go with. So of course I'm gonna like training by myself. As soon as I found my first ever good gym partner, then another one, I realized that these workouts take you to just another level. The third tip to go from skinny to jacked even faster than normal is to increase your testosterone. You probably have heard a lot about testosterone. It increases your muscle mass or your rate of growth and strength and everything. And so there's a bunch of like testosterone tactics and supplements that you can start to implement. The supplements that you should take for testosterone are Tonka Ali and Fedosia agrestis. And what I've seen is like there's only one good website to buy these from, and you know that this is legit, and I'm being honest because I'm not going to link the website, so it's not like an affiliate link. The website's called Momentous, and it's the one that all these scientists, like Andrew Huberman, they have all endorsed to say, yep, this company is the one that's actually putting like the real thing inside of the bottle. Basically, if you're buying supplements from like Amazon, it turns out that a lot of them are just shit. Like they're just filled with bullshit. It's not actually like the thing that they said it was. And so this website called Momentous, if you go search on Google like Momentous Tonka Ali, that'll come up. You take that supplement. Those Tonka Ali and Fedosia agrestis have been proven to actually be like the best testosterone supplements on the market. And then also the ones I would add, which I've seen from other places, other studies, is zinc, taking 50 milligrams of zinc per day, and then vitamin D, taking enough vitamin D till your blood levels get to 55 nanograms per deciliter. That's like I saw this in a book years ago. I don't know if that's like healthy or whatever. That's just what I saw. And to put this into perspective, when I was in Thailand in 2022, I was sunning my balls naked for 2 hours a day. I promise. Think about it. I was sat in the sun for 2 hours a day. So basically, I was probably getting more sunlight than genuinely 99% of humans, because I was butt naked, right? I was just sat there like fully naked in the sunlight for a solid 2 hours. And I was taking 5,000 IU of vitamin D a day. And my blood work came back at only 42 nanograms per deciliter for vitamin D. So basically, I probably could have went higher. I'm sure there'll be some nerd who'll say, wait, that number's wrong. It should be this, whatever. But from what I saw in this book from Tim Ferriss that was talking about maximizing testosterone, you want to get to about 55 nanograms per deciliter vitamin D, right? That's a vitamin D blood test that I did. So that taught me that the recommended amount of vitamin D to take is actually very low, like what it says in the bottle. A lot of these bottles, like the supplements, will say like 5,000 IU, and that's the max you should take. I've actually spoke to guys who have done a bunch of like experimentation, and it seems to be like 15 to 20,000 is what I've heard a couple of guys say. And that's often the protocol I go on when I want to maximize testosterone, especially if I'm back in the UK in like a grey country which doesn't have direct sunlight. I don't know anything about supplements and stuff, by the way, so like obviously be careful. Don't just take the numbers which I've recommended. Do a little bit of research yourself, ask ChatGPT, do that kind of thing. You already know that you can increase testosterone by like sleeping and being healthy, but there's a few other random methods and tactics that I've remembered seeing in like various podcasts like from Huberman, which I found very interesting. The question, does no-fap increase testosterone, has always been there, and the study that's always cited is that your testosterone will go up, I think about 20% after 7 days, and then it kind of like, nobody really says what happens after that, kind of stabilizes or not. What I have actually seen, which I found was really interesting, is sunlight definitely helps. So there was like an Israeli study where people who got extra sunlight 2-3 times a week ended up getting increased testosterone and also increased libido libido. Like they literally fucked more. So that's the power of sunlight. It makes you more horny, which is awesome. But the final study in regards to testosterone was one on semen retention, particularly if you actually are having sex but you don't bust. I remember seeing this somewhere. To be honest, I don't even know if this is a real study or I just made this up. Maybe someone can go like link it or cite it or something, because I don't know if I can find it or not. So maybe I just made this up. Let's just like speculate, right? The single best like sexual act you could have for testosterone, if we were just speculating, would be to have sex, not to ejaculate, but then to stop having sex before you finish. Just think about that in a really primal caveman level. You're having sex, so you're about to pass on your genes, like one of the most important things that like an animal can do, but then you stop. I feel like our caveman nervous system is thinking, oh shit, there's probably like another caveman around here, I'm gonna have to bash his skull in. Maybe I'm completely wrong, I'm just making some shit up, but if you ever have tried this, like if you've got a girlfriend or a wife, you have sex but you just kind of pull out and don't continue, you might actually think, oh shit, Hamza was probably right. Like you get super fucking horny, you fuck more, and like you'll just, maybe in the future you go try this once. Basically you just have sex without finishing. It's kind of like edging for fapping. You're not a loser. The fourth tip I want to give you is to bulk. So in the last like few years, the fitness influencer space has just been garbage. I'd say up until Sam Sulek came onto the scene, because there was all these like science nerds and all these people who were like just going against the sort of conventional old school bodybuilding advice by saying, oh look, hey guys, I'm a dork and here's this study that actually says that this thing that's worked for everyone actually is wrong and we should do this like sus looking exercise instead. And one of the things that I saw go viral in the last few years was this concept of like maintaining your body weight. So basically not bulking, not cutting, just staying at the same weight. And a lot of people preached that because it was this phrase that was getting viral, which was build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Turns out that that's just an utterly inefficient way to train, and especially if you're lightweight as well. So if you want to get up to a heavier weight, like for example, I started at 130 pounds as a 6'1" man. I started like anorexic. So if I maintained there, or I maintained at 160 pounds or 170, I'd still be small as fuck. You want to be maintaining at a high weight for your height. So for me, I'm 6'1". I want to get to about 200, 210 pounds. Then I'll consider maintaining at that level. When you're still at victim body weight, you don't want to be maintaining then. So what do? You bulk, you eat more. There's a reason why every single bodybuilder bulks and cuts. And these nerds online will tell you that's because they take steroids. But also if you go and ask bodybuilders who are natural, do they bulk or cut? They'll also say, yeah, bulking and cutting is actually a very effective way at gaining mass and then shredding down. It's a lot more effective than just trying to do both at the same time. That's like trying to train like soccer and American football at the same time. It's like you're just doing two things at once. It's like, yeah, sure, can you do this and this one as well? Yeah, sure, but like, is it as efficient as just going better in one? No, of course not. In all parts of life, going the essentialist mode and doing one thing will always get you more results than trying to balance two things at once. Any businessman and athlete will tell you this. So bulking is what I recommend to most young guys who want to gain a lot of size and muscle and strength, particularly if they're at a low body weight as well, and they just want to be more fucking beefy. Does this mean you're going to gain some fat? Because when you bulk, you eat more calories and you often do gain some fat. Yeah, but it's actually not that big of a deal. Fat is very easy to lose. You know, the concept of like losing fat and it's like a struggle, that's only for like weak-minded people. You know, that's for like middle-aged women who are busy with kids and they work a job and they're depressed and they spend 6 hours a day on Candy Crush. As a young man, you should never be scared of fat gain, because fat is very easy to lose. It's like, just do cardio, fat ass. Just go like literally eat less calories like in the future. It's not that hard. If you do like one session of martial arts per day, that's probably going to burn like a few hundred calories, like 300 or 400 or something. So that's fine. That's like your deficit right there. So don't be scared of the fat gain in those earlier days of bodybuilding. Think more about building the size. People ask me, should I bulk or should I cut? And for 90% guys, the answer is always bulk. Right now, you don't have enough muscle mass, so what the fuck are you going to cut to? When I was quite lightweight, I used to think that if I cut, I'd look like one of those shredded guys. But I didn't realize just how much muscle, you know, those like lean TikTok boy guys, I didn't realize just how much muscle they had actually packed on. Now, guys with amazing genetics, maybe taking a bit of testosterone or gear or something, yeah, sure, they can just, you know, train and not really think about bulking and weighing their macros and stuff. But if you're a guy watching this, you probably want every advantage you can get to make faster progress. You don't just want to check off 6 out of 10 of the things, you want to check off 10 out of 10. So the fastest way to gain muscle when it comes to dieting is to just eat more calories, eat in a calorie surplus, eat about 200, 300 extra calories a day, gain about half a pound extra per week, up to maybe a pound if you're particularly lightweight. The final tip I'll give you is the app that I would recommend, and the app is called Strong. You search it on like the App Store or something, and basically you can put your workouts in that, and then you can just load up the app and it'll remember what you did last time. So then you can open up the app, it's all in front of you, okay, this exercise for this many sets, whatever, and you got 15 reps last time. Then it's like a game in your mind. Okay, go for 16 today, go for 16. Oh, this one I got 20 reps at 100 kg. I'm gonna try and go for 105 kg at 15 reps. So the numbers being in front of you just really helps to stay accountable at the journey of like progressive overload. Click the top link in the description if you want to ask me a question. Subscribe to this channel. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.